Now, I know the answer for most everyone is not going to be a super happy answer, but I wanted to run this exercise out nonetheless. Mike, you were way too excited about this segment. All right. Realistically, how many more games are the Cowboys going to win this season? Now, I can quick hit, run down the schedule for you. I can go one by one, and you can count it up in your head. What do you guys prefer?
Maybe 2 is what I got.
I'm at maybe 2 also, and I think that we've seen this organization. I know we had Charles Haley the other day, but in 1997 with Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin, Deion Sanders, Charles Haley, they quit.
Yeah.
They went to Green Bay, lost, and they didn't win another game the rest of the year because they're like, we're not winning the Super Bowl. We're probably not going to make the playoffs. We quit. And there is in this organization, it's okay to quit. Just make a storyline about it. And so
I'm worried
about if you want more wins, I know they're not going to make the playoffs, but if you're like, well, maybe they could win those last 3 or 4 games of the year, I think there might be total and complete quit from this organization, and it just ends up just snowballing into loss after loss after loss. I don't know how hard they're going to fight in the month of December.
All right. I can't argue against the logic there. I think your logic is sound. I'm going to run down the schedule, and I think you might be surprised at my answer. Obviously, they host the Texans on Monday. Then that ensuing Sunday on the road against the Commanders. Back at home Thanksgiving for the Giants.
Winnable.
You get the mini bye, and then you get Cincinnati. Then you at Carolina, host Tampa Bay, and you finish up at Philadelphia and hosting Washington. Now, I know this is going to sound like a high number, and it makes me sad that this is a high number. I think they're going to win 3 more games. I think they're going to win the New York game. I think they're going to win the Carolina game. And then I think somehow they're going to win one other game that we're like, how the hell did they win that game? Just because you've seen that time and again in the NFL this season. Now, I'm not here to argue against Mike's logic because I also see another path in which all of that happens. I'm going to say they end up at 6-11. I do think, as bad as this team has been, I think the Giants and the Panthers are just horrid. I think you can win those games, and then I think the Cowboys will win one other random game that you're like, how did that happen? What say you?
Yeah, I if I had to bet on it, I'd probably go with 2 more wins.
That seems to be the consensus thus far.
Yeah, because you see the Giants and the Panthers, and those feel like 2 games that are winnable. With the Bengals and their defense, how bad it is, maybe you can make an argument there. You never know what happens late in the season. Do the Commanders or the Eagles have the division wrapped up, and maybe they're kind of punting on the last game of the season or whatever? So I would bet on 2 games, but I would say that I think it's more likely they win 0 games as opposed to 3.
Okay.
Like, I can't imagine them winning 3 more games.
And I just want to say for the record, that is the far preferable situation. Like, if you're telling me right now, would I rather them go 6-11 or 3-14? A million times over, I would rather them go 3-14.
Wow, you want them to lose?
Yes, I do.
You want the Cowboys
absolutely
to be losers?
Yes,
because he's a
Cowboys,
big picture fan.
If you're listening, please lose to get a better draft pick. Whether it's Travis Hunter, whether you can, or not. I don't want to draft Genty with the number 2 pick.
Eric's really into getting running backs in this draft.
Not at the number 2 pick, but I don't want you to think we're calling you a schmo.
You know how much that kills me.
That's my dream, by the way, is that the Cowboys end up getting like the 3rd pick in this draft by losing. Like, I think they're only going to win 1 more game. They go 4-13. Somehow they hold tiebreakers to get the 3rd pick, and they go ahead and take Genty at 3.
That would just be gut-wrenching.
That would be awesome.
The Zeke thing all over again. It would be insane. But I will say, last night, Broadus has already started his scouting. His scouting.
Yeah.
And Genty's one of the 10 guys that he's watched. He says he's even better than Bijan Robinson.
Yes!
So he's already selling Genty at the highest level. Walchuk has watched him too, and he's like, oh my gosh, he's even better than I thought he was. So this is going to get real loud. And Genty was saying that he wants to be drafted by the Cowboys. He said that.
Yeah, but that doesn't always equate. Derrick Henry said he wanted to be with the Cowboys, and we were like, we're busy.
That's true.
We got stuff going on.
No, good call. Good call.
So, all right, Corey.
Yeah.
Mike says 1. Eric says maybe 2, but more likely to be 0 than 3. Clearly, I am the high right now at
so
3.
high. Yeah.
And it's think about how sad that is. right up here on the stage.
I know.
I predict they will have the best record at 6-11.
And the thing too is, like, McCarthy's not going to game plan like, okay, the season's over, right?
Yeah,
like there's
yeah,
no
I
way
agree.
that
I
dude's just
agree.
trying to give up on his season, and he's going to his guys on this team, and he's going, I need you just, at least for this one. I need to show, because that list of 4 things you said yesterday, are we competitively doing things?
So far,
yeah.
no.
Man, I'm looking at the Giants and Panthers, and that's all I can feel. I don't have a feeling for the Bengals because their defense is very, very suspect, but their offense is so explosive. And that's the Cowboys. The Cowboys can't keep up with good offenses.
Is the Carolina game here or in?
Carolina game's on the road.
In Carolina.
That's good. I'm going to tell you why it's good for Jerry Jones. I think there would be 10,000 empty seats for that game. Maybe 15,000.
Which is kind of what we want to see.
Because Carolina wouldn't travel to come see that and who they have. I think the Cowboy fans would be like, I don't care, I have season tickets, I'm rich, I'm not going. So I think that would be the one game where you would not have the visiting team travel to pick up the tickets that Cowboy fans wouldn't want.
By the way, next week we will be giving away tickets to the Thanksgiving game. So if you want to see what could be the Cowboys' only other win this season, we will do that next week.
The Panthers game is an interesting one because that's the loss you take and you get your coach fired.
Yes.
Dennis Allen with the Saints. Like I don't think that Jerry wants to fire McCarthy during the season, but you lose to Carolina on the heels of probably losing every game other than maybe the Giants game in lead up. I think that's you might lose your job game.
It feels like there'll be a lot of attention on that game as well. Not maybe for the best reasons, but with both Carolina
Battle for the
and
pick.
Dallas being like, hey, I really could use that number 1 or number 2 or
It's a
number
lose
3
fest.
pick or whatever.
I could see McCarthy getting fired around that Panthers game, not because it's like, oh, shockwaves. All the players know that he's done.
Yeah.
Like, we're not stupid. Players aren't stupid. We know that we're playing for dead coaches now. It's just the reality of it. And so you look at it and you go, if they've gotten, and I say, relegated, but if they've gotten taken off of the Sunday night football game against Tampa, which I believe they will. I believe 3 weeks before that December 22nd game, the NFL is going to announce the Cowboys in Tampa are out for Sunday night football and Philadelphia and Washington are in. I think that's going to hurt Jerry's feelings. He won't say it publicly, but it will hurt his feelings a lot. If the Carolina game is probably a noon game, that is not a major game, that will not get good ratings.
Agreed.
I think he could see.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. But I'm just kind of playing this game of, because I'm not sure they'll get taken off of Sunday night football. But let's just say those two things happen. The Carolina game is not a well-watched game, and they lose. They have been taken off of Sunday night football for December 22nd, and 2 rival teams in their division, Philadelphia and Washington, get put in that spot. I could see where that Sunday night or that Monday morning he goes, I'm firing Mike McCarthy because now what happens for the next 48 to 72 hours? The Cowboys are the number 1 story in the NFL again.
He is the best at that, at creating a story where there's nothing there. He's the absolute best at that. From the 682, maybe one more win. From the 903, 0 wins. From the 972, negative wins is my prediction.
What? You can't negative win. That's not a thing.
You think that, but if any team could pull it off, it would probably be the 89
And Jerry
team.
would sell the crap out of it,
Yeah,
too.
he
He'd be
would.
Like, guys, can
We
y'all
made
believe
history.
this?
It's
First ever.
unbelievable.
Nobody's ever had a negative win before, but guess what?
We
did it first.
Chase the number 2 pick, and let's get Travis Hunter. I'm having a mini argument with somebody who said Leonardo was green.
What? Leonardo's body is green.
Well, no, but they're saying the colors is
blue.
green. And I was like,
They're
it's
colorblind.
definitely blue.
Yeah, they're
Oh,
colorblind.
no.
Don't drive. You don't know the colors.
And then from the 817, did Mike open his card package? Unfortunately, it did not reveal any amazing
When I
wonders
saw
like we
it, I
hoped.
was like, oh no, there's not going to be the fun Juan Soto chase card in here. And I opened it up, and there was no extra pack. Because I saw the Otanis when he had 50-50. You get like an extra pack where it could be an image variation. It could be an Otani autograph card.
Numbered,
So I knew that if I had something special, it would be in its own individual pack. And so didn't get it.
From the 940, don't be shocked if the Cowboys win 4 or 5 more. The Commanders, aren't as good as people think they are. You know, we kind of touched on that yesterday. The Commanders have not beaten the most impressive array of teams, but Their quarterback is really good. They're still 7-3. I guess we'll get more information about them tonight. And then they will win at least one game. They have no business winning. And then other people talking about maybe the Commanders will sit all their players in the finale. What an interesting chess match that will turn into.
You think
the Commanders, the Commanders are like, I don't care about winning. And the Cowboys are like, wait, I don't want to win this game. I need a better draft pick. And then just watch the amazingness of maybe the Renegades will come in and they'll take over for the rest of the game.
Yeah, they might win. Then that'd be the thing.
They could.
Yeah, they're good.
One of the best ways to try and lose a game, I feel like, would be at least defensively. For at least half the game, you're kind of like, oh, we only had 10 guys on the field on that play. Bummer,
they're not even trying to do that.
We've done that a few times, so I think we'll be all right.
14 guys in the huddle for offense.
I mean, and we don't have to try too hard to get the pre-snap penalties. Be like, oh, no, it's 3rd and 15. You're like, oh, man, I was in the neutral zone. Now it's only 3rd and 10. Oh, and too many men on the field. Now it's only 3rd and 5.
Doggone it. And
that
then
would
on
be
3rd
my
and 5.
fun.
Then 3rd and 5, you have 10 guys on the field. And
that would be my fun
money.
philosophy, Eric. If you're struggling to move the ball, unfortunately, they created a new rule. You can't have 12 guys in the huddle. Screw it. Let's see if we add an extra receiver out there if we can get more open.
Yeah.
You'd think you
Just
would
to build the
naturally
confidence
get
up.
some
I'll take the
separation.
5-yard penalty for at least the 25-yard play for 5 seconds that made me feel good.
It's a confidence booster, man.
Yeah.
That's a heady play.
Kevin, I'm doing this live on radio right now. I have a suggestion for maybe tomorrow or at some point next week for the show. What are you rooting for? What are you watching for with this team now? Is it because you're rooting for somebody to grow, or are you rooting for somebody to fail? I feel like there's going to be a lot more fail, but there is some other stuff to get involved with this season for the rest of the year.
I know people are going to make fun of me, and I know I'm an idiot for this. I'm hoping that
They win out.
last week didn't happen, and somehow Trey Lance comes in and he just starts flinging the ball all over the place and completing his passes and leading his wide receivers, not turning the ball over. And you're like, oh my God, where did this come from?
Sign that guy.
Yeah, I
He's
realize
doing it.
$60
I know
million a
that.
year contract.
Eric, he will fling the ball.
he will. Not necessarily where you hope it will go, but
Right.
it'll go.
But now with Jonathan Mingo running around out there, you never know what type of Justin Jefferson attributes he might be showing out with.
yeah, I mean, in his last 4 games, he did have 1 catch for 1 yard.
They were holding him back from injury. They knew they were going to trade him, so they were trying not to get him
Oh,
hurt.
okay.
That's what I'm feeling.
Interesting.
It's like baseball players. They don't throw the pitchers out there. They're like, hey, that was good enough. You had a shutout in the last 7 innings. You're good.
Huh. Look, if Jonathan Mingo takes over, I will readily admit, apparently that is the strategy that was going on. I just didn't understand it.